So, imagine a government election. Thousands, no, hundreds of thousands of people vote to elect only a handful of leaders. These leaders are supposed to represent the thoughts and opinions of the population as a whole. But really, is that even possible? Well, this is exactly the kind of sacrifice that our competitor, Nielsen, is asking us to make. Nielsen is a media rating service, and the only ranking service for the US radio market. Nielsen provides a small number of families with pagers that they must wear at all times. These pagers track the family's radio listening habits, and in return, they are paid monthly. Nielsen then sells this data to radio stations. So what? What's the problem with Nielsen? Well, for every 10,000 people in a city like Austin, only one of them has a pager. This is an extremely inaccurate representation of the city as a whole. The small and inadequate sample size is a huge problem for radio stations. Another part of this business is the users. From their perspective, the pagers are bulky and obtrusive. They must carry them every morning to work, and they're responsible for charging and docking them at night. It's a hassle for them in their daily life. And the worst part is, Nielsen is a monopoly. They are the only company in the US for radio that does this.
This is where we come in. Our company, Rad I, is developing a dependable radio ranking service to help commercial radio stations increase the accuracy of their ratings. We do this by using a novel mobile platform to reach a larger and more representative sample size. So what is our secret? Our secret is a mobile application. While this idea isn't remarkable in itself, the way we implement it is a novel concept allowing us to reach more people than Nielsen at lower cost. Our application is minimally intrusive into your daily life, giving us the ability to capture and deliver data in real time to both radio stations and advertising agencies. Our total available market is the 15,330 radio stations in the US, estimated to be at $3.1 billion market value. Our served available market is the 2,112 commercial FM stations currently subscribed to Nielsen, estimated to be at $422 million. Our target market is the 15 commercial FM stations in Waco, Killeen, Abilene, and San Angelo, valued at $270,000 in revenue in the first year. This is our pricing model. Nielsen charges on average $24,000 a year. After conducting interviews with radio stations and ad agencies, we found that radio stations tend to be more pressed for money, and advertising agencies rarely subscribe to Nielsen for all markets. So we've developed a similar subscription model to Nielsen, but have created two different pricing schemes to best fit our customer needs. After we go mainstream, this is an estimate of the Austin market. We can be making $213,000 in revenue in the first year. Through our new rewards program, we can bring our user acquisition costs down to $36 from Nielsen's $780 a year.
So at this point, we can say our company is a go. So looking forward, we have several different approaches on how we wish to continue. This is an example of the first alternative. We push the mobile app to our users, and in return, we monitor them for the data. We sell this information to our customers, who are the radio stations and the advertising agencies. This is a very similar model to Nielsen's. The problems we will have is we will be competing with Nielsen for their market share, which is not advisable. Therefore, the second ecosystem, which we're leaning towards, again, we have to pay our mobile app users and collect data from them. But in this case, Nielsen is our customer. We are either contracted by them or they buy our technology. And the value we offer them is improving the quality of their existing customer service and providing additional value to the radio stations. Another alternative is also partnering with Rantrack, which is a media ratings company. They don't have any radio presence, which means we could set that up for them. This is a tentative timeline of what we want to achieve going forward. We will raise $6,000 to create a working app prototype and begin contacting potential customers. In a year, we'll have raised $3,000 to create a working MVP of the application that's required to acquire our first early adopter, which is a customer in a small market. After this, we will require $10,000 to automate the app download process to scale, and $72,000 to show proof of concept to bigger markets. These will be our mainstream customers. So far we've met with 13 radio sales heads and 6 advertising agency executives. These are some of the notable ones. It's been a really inspiring and informative journey so far.
So this is our team. My name is Leo. This is Sagar. We're both electrical computer engineering majors, and we are both avid software developers, and while we take our work very seriously, we like to have a lot of fun. Once again, we are Rad I. My name's Leo. This is Sagar. We're open for questions.
If you have questions.
Is there a way that the ad agencies can help you define what the best model is? In other words, can they influence this monopoly?
Well, so these small ad agencies have no power and no money as well. They don't even subscribe. We would have to break into the huge, ad agencies like GSD&M, for example. And that's a challenge that we haven't yet overcome. We've been talking to mostly smaller ones, so they give us good insight. But to really make a difference, we have to speak to larger agencies. Yes.
How do you expect Nielsen to react to your entrance into this one?
So Nielsen currently does have patents on mobile app-related technologies. It's not exactly what we're doing. It's more of profiling their users. So it's not that they haven't discovered this approach before. It's not that they're not aware of other people trying to enter into the market. But I don't think they see us as a sizable concern in the foreseeable future. And at that time, we can take the appropriate action.
What does that mean? Yeah.
So,
So in other words, are you setting
yeah, go
yourself
ahead.
up to be acquired, or you're setting
Yes.
yourself up to be actually competition?
Acquired. That's the ecosystem that we're leaning towards. So yes, we are setting ourselves up to be acquired by Nielsen.
Any history of their acquisitions?
They have been acquiring companies. I think it was 4 companies in the past 4 or 5 years.
What's their multiple on revenue when they acquire them?
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really important for you to define that, because Nielsen is a monopoly,
Mhm.
and they protect and defend that monopoly.
Right.
And they're not friendly players.
Mhm.
They will attack you any way. They will kill you any way they can, and even if it means coming at you from a legal standpoint. So I think that you want to be just thoughtful of the dynamic that's in place in the ecosystem.
Okay.
Understand who you're going up against,
Mhm.
because they're going to come after you.
Okay. So I mean, what suggestions, what advice, what suggestions do you have?
You know, the
How we
thing
can approach
is
it?
to figure out where, from your customer standpoint, where they think Nielsen's weaknesses are.
Okay.
And then see if there's a business there. And the way that you're going to see if there's a business there is to use the tools that you've honed for the last 6 weeks. But really figure out, because Nielsen's a hated company. You know that.
Yeah.
Google also is becoming a hated company because people hate monopolies.
Yeah.
And so you should try to figure out where their weaknesses are from their customers'
Okay.
standpoint, and see if there's a soft spot from which you can.
Okay. Fair enough.